systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What's going on, everybody? Happy Thursday with my man Rio again, talking hoops. Let me bring Mike a little closer. 8 games on the slate. This one not quite as easy in the sense of you got to be waiting around if you're playing today. 7 Eastern all the way to 9:30 Eastern are the 8 games. You can see the different lock times here. We'll go game by game like always. Injury report. There's a bunch on there like usual. Rio, how we doing on this fine Thursday afternoon?
Doing all right. Just got the slate planned up nice and early today, so anybody that's in Discord can read that now. But yeah, not looking forward to the slate. There's a lot of injuries, stuff to go through, a lot of potential blowouts, a couple of fun games towards the end of the night that should be pretty fun to watch, and then maybe there'll be some fantasy appeal there. But all in all, pretty gross slate in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, happy Memphis Day again. Matt and I had this on Monday on a smaller slate, 4 or 5 games that was. This is 8 games, a lot of Memphis. Always love doing these shows with you. Nobody better in the business. And yeah, if you don't like the Memphis chalk or you think it's fragile, this and that, you definitely aren't afraid to make stands there. They mentioned some good real-life games, Denver, San Antonio, Boston, and OKC. Yeah, definitely 2 awesome ones. Tonight, if you want to watch some hoops, March Madness, tournaments are starting there, watching some little golf action, a lot going on in the sports world. And again, we have a lot of sports up here that we offer. MLB is going to be back before you know it too. MMA, me and Big Marley are going to have our show tonight. Sheets was already in the Discord saying it's a great GPP card. NASCAR, PGA Showdown, NBA, NHL. We would love to have you at the Nation. ShippingNation.com can get in for the day. 5 days for $19. That includes Discord. That includes SaberSim. And then if you do just want NBA only, check out Rio's slate plan, Rio's core report, Matt's core report, the Stone, our DVP rankings, all that good stuff. Education videos. Some people ask, try and find a process. Of course, that's what we preach. Education, we have for 5 sports, an hour plus on all of them. We would love to have you. Who do we got in chat to say hi to? My Lanes, what's going on? I know you're man, I can't remember the name that was there before YouTube or whatever started tweaking, but you're always in here. Do you remember Rio by chance?
What do you mean?
Like it's not My Lanes. It was the same, like he was an OG. This guy's always in the chat. And it had to, you know how YouTube and StreamYard, like now that they changed the app thing, like some people's names were changed.
Oh yeah. Well, maybe he could tell us. I'm not sure. I remember.
You're always in here though. Wins a lot in here. Mighty, Ricky.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, Keith Vape. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say Keith. Yeah, okay. Yep. Good to see you. Jose, Michael, Name, Jake, Longleaf, Rodney, Deacon, Paraby, Juice, Mr. LFG. Good to see everyone. All we ask, like button, subscribe button. Helps us out a ton. Rio, any like broad slate besides Memphis is getting jammed and then kind of pick your spends and stuff?
I wanted to bring this up because this is kind of not funny, but I didn't get screwed by Patrick Baldwin Jr. I actually got screwed by Ryan Kalkbrenner, who was ruled out after lock. I mean, that was like the biggest rope-a-dope that's ever been pulled against me. Just he got downgraded to probable, which is just a weird thing to happen before a game starts, and then listed available and then listed out. So didn't miss questionable, miss doubtful, just like absolutely.
I haven't seen that terrible one. Morikawa, I don't know if you're in the Gulf streets, but 39%. Yeah, you know. Nope. I mean, one of the that's crazy. One of the highest owned that I've pretty much ever seen. Like Scotty, of course, has got there occasionally, but for a player or something like that, 39%, you wake up and he WD. So yeah, it's been tough out there in the DFS streets. Bankroll management, we preach because the most random stuff completely out of your control can happen, and you can be drawn dead before the slate starts, and it might not even be your fault. So yeah, anything else for broad slate?
I guess, I don't know. Yeah, the Memphis stuff is obviously going to be kind of dominating your optimizers, but I could see them kind of failing a bit. They are doing a really good job of tanking right now, and I think this would be a huge game for them to lose. I I think that's it. I mean, we'll kind of break it down as we get further along the slate, but yeah, nothing really else to add.
Sorry, Michael. I know. Rubbing it, reminding people all from everyone tilted earlier. Hit the like button, support our channel. Yeah, we appreciate that, Rodney. All right. I say we get right into it. 8 games, no time to waste. First game of the night, Phoenix Suns and the Indiana Pacers. 8.5 total, 223.5 or 8.5 point spreads in this one. Phoenix are favorites, 223.5 total. A little rough. Dylan Brooks out still. Mark Williams out. Grayson Allen questionable. On the other side, for Indy, I mean, it's always brutal with them. Right now, there's no Siakam, no Quentin Jackson. And then we have Neesmith, Zubac, and Nemhard and TJ McConnell all questionable. Zubac, man, he's on the Q-Tag. He hasn't played a game yet for him, has he?
No, this would be his first game.
Why are they just randomly listing him questionable? Do you think – obviously, we're going to get this news before lock with it being the first one that locks. But, I mean, you were just saying that you thought he'd just be out all year. I don't know why they'd bring him back when they're actively trying to lose. But, yeah, big underdogs of the Pacers. Getting no ownership in the Suns. If you want to spend D-Book, maybe Jalen Green, but it looks like a pretty bad DFS game.
Yep. I don't really know why they upgraded him. I don't know if they plan to play him, but clearly I think that he will eventually suit up for them. Probably just because it's a home game. Probably want to get him one under his feet, but they are on the front end of a back-to-back. They play the Knicks tomorrow, so I don't know if they would rather play their guys tonight against Phoenix, which is a game that they probably could win if they were fully healthy, or a Knicks team. So I'm just not really sure. You just got to wait to see who's in and out for the Pacers. But I would expect Cam Jones would be kind of interesting if like Nemhard and TJ McConnell and all those other Q tags were out, because I think that they would probably play him a ton of minutes. And he's not a great permanent producer, but I'm just kind of looking for pivots off of this Memphis stuff. So he's kind of a guy that caught my eye if he does get the start with all those guys out. But as it stands right now, not interested in anything on Indy. Probably just a max 1 if these guys are in. Fine with 0. I do like the matchup for Devin Booker and Jalen Green in particular, and to a lesser extent, Colin Gillespie. Pacers have the 4th worst net rating this season, the 2nd worst over the last 2 weeks. They're bottom 2 in defense, bottom 3 in offense. And they are bottom 2 in pick and roll defense this season. Devin Booker, Jalen Green, 2 of the top pick and roll scorers in the NBA this season. So those are really the only 2 guys I'm looking to matchup wise in this game. Jalen Green shot it a little bit more efficiently last game, kind of went, he's red hot in the first half, then went cold in the second. But nice to see that the usage has been really, really strong for him with Dylan Brooks sideline. And then Devin Booker just has a pretty solid floor ceiling combination with the assists. If you can kind of get that double bonus, then could have been cooking last game, because I had a ton of Booker and looked like he was on his way to a massive game, but your Milwaukee Bucks could not keep the game close, so he lost some of his run.
You got that one right. I'm glad you full circle to bring that all back. You nailed that one. That the Suns were not favored enough in that.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. I like the matchup a good bit for Phoenix, but not sure if it's really enough for me to go out of my way to play these guys early when we could get some stuff opening up later.
Yeah, I mean, stuff could be opening up later. Even if we knew nothing open up, though, like avoiding this game isn't the worst thing by any means. I think you're probably playing Booker or maybe the Gillespie mid-tier stuff and moving on. The Cam Jones take, yeah, that was – I mean, if he starts, there's no McConnell through thin in the backcourt. McConnell and who was the other one?
Nemhard.
Nemhard, yeah. Then he'd be one of the only ball handlers back there. But, I mean, it's so hard. I hate playing these tanking teams that still do have a lot of bodies, and that is what Indy is right now.
Yeah.
7 p.m. Eastern, same time. Another big favorites in this one. Pistons 14.5 over the 76ers, 222.5 total. On the Philly side, no Embiid, Maxey, or Paul George. And then we also have no Oubre, Bona, Broom, and Drummond questionable. I mean, dude, like who's playing in this one? I mean, that's really big for the front court if they miss Drummond, with Bona already out as well, even with them as big underdogs. On the Detroit side, Azure Thompson is still out. No Karis LeVert. I mean, yeah, I think Detroit side, you're either playing Cade, I guess maybe Duran, but you're not going to value on the Detroit side. And Philly, yeah, that's a big Q tag for Drummond for some of these front court guys. So do you have any lean on this? Obviously, we'll get it before lock.
No, I don't really have a lean, but he's been playing really bad and has not even really been playing much. So I feel like he's probably out for this one. So that does kind of raise the interest a little bit on the Philly side of things because they're basically have no true center on the roster. Like it would be Barlow starting at center, and then Jabari Walker would get the back. They'd probably be splitting like most of the 48 between those two guys. Maybe Trent Watford a little bit, but I think he's more of like a guard forward hybrid because they kind of look at him more as like a ball handler, guy that can take off some playmaking off of the other guys. So I do kind of think that Jabari Walker is interesting in the sense that this game is probably going to blow out, and I don't really think that they're going to be playing Barlow deep in a blowout. I feel like it'd probably be Walker. And he has small forward, power forward eligibility, so pretty good there. But in terms of the guys that you'd be spending up for in this game, the Edgecombe, Grimes, and Payne, they just feel overpriced for how likely this game would be to blow out. I'd be setting a max 2 rule of those 3 guys, and if I played 2 of them, then I'm probably telling the story that this game does stay close. I'd probably want to consider going to like Cade or Duran. That'd probably be the only way that you're really getting like a true ceiling minutes wise from those guys on the other side of the game. I'm not really buying into the campaign. Huge game last time out. I mean, that was like a 99th percentile outcome for him. Basically was perfect from the floor. And I guess what they said about VJ Edgecombe or Nick Nurse said about him being like the lead handler wasn't really true because campaign led the team in touch time. Yes, I don't know. I don't really have a lot of good things to say about these guys as spend ups. I just think that they're all a little bit too expensive. I'd be okay with Grimes as a standalone play because I feel like his minutes are pretty safe. Like we've seen him play 36 minutes even when they're getting blown out. And we saw what he did towards the end of last season where he was just taking a ton of shots. I feel like we could see something like that happening here. But they're going to be mixing in guys like Justin Edwards, Dalen Terry, Tyrese Martin will probably mix in as well. They might even throw Kyle Lowry on the court a little bit. Marshawn Beauchamp is available. So they're not like as thin as Indy could be or as thin as Memphis already is. So I don't really think that it's a spot where you need to be going overboard with your exposures. But I do think that the Barlow and Jabari Walker – actually, I would just say Walker and Wofford are probably the 2 guys I'm most interested in right now, especially if Drummond were to miss, then I think those guys are really good.
I'm not sure. Yeah, Walker's ownership will really creep up to anywhere meaningful because it doesn't seem like you think he'll start, right? He'll play the backup 5, get that run, and then any blowout run and projections. Again, we talk about a lot right now, but it's a lot tougher to nail stuff like this down. It's more of a guessing game. It's a completely different DFS game, in my opinion, almost from like October, November, where projections mean so much and they're so locked in. Where now it's a lot of guesswork, knowing rotations. If the game's close and if it's not is some of the biggest questions right now. So, right, long story short, he's probably not going to start. Still a good play regardless.
Yeah. I don't think he would start. I think the starting lineup would be the 3 guards. So VJ, Grimes, Payne, Barlow, and then the 5th starter is probably Watford, or it might be like, they need more size. I think it'd be Watford.
Okay. I mean, Duran or Cade on the other side, do they fall down the list a bit? I mean, there's a lot of spends on the slate, that's for sure.
Yeah, pretty far down. I think Duran could definitely smash here just with how small the front court is on the other side of the game. But I don't know, minutes have been pretty gross. They've just been blowing teams out. So I'm not super interested there.
All right, let's keep it rolling. 2 games that aren't too appealing to start it off. Next game on the slate, the Washington Wizards, 14.5-point underdogs to the Orlando Magic, 233.5 total in this one. On the Magic side, no Franz, no Anthony Black, Chase Richardson questionable. Washington, no Keyshawn George. That is the only injury news there. Washington was a team that we were playing for a little bit, but now like Trae Young's back. I mean, they're as healthy as it gets, or as we've seen Washington lately, which means rotation's going to be really big. I just couldn't imagine clicking anyone on Washington at this current time. Orlando implied for a lot of points. They are big favorites, though. Yeah, I'll let you take this one. Paulo's been good. There's no doubt about that. But there's some other plays that are showing to be relatively solid value, ownership in check. No Franz, no Black. Obviously, some usage to go around. So I assume you have the same take on Washington. Hit that little circle with the line through it. But what about Orlando?
Yeah, definitely agree with that on Washington, unclicking them tonight. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing to say about the match. I mean, it's great for Paolo, Bane, Suggs, and Wendell. We just saw what Bam did to the front court
I
of
didn't even want to
Washington.
bring that up. I mean, that if you want to speak on anything like that, you can. But that
Nah, I think it's been talked about enough, so I think we're
Yeah.
good. But yeah, I mean, Paulo. The issue is that these guys played a ton of minutes last night in a really close game, and they're projected to blow out Washington by what 15 and a half, 14 points. So I guess it's closer than some of the other blowouts, but yeah, I don't think Washington can keep it close with any team right now. I think Bane and Paulo are the two guys that really stand out for me if I'm choosing somebody on Orlando of the starters, just because Suggs got up to 32 minutes last game, and he's not really a guy that I think they want to push into a back-to-back against Washington, so I feel like I'd be lower on him. Same thing for Wendell. He played 35 minutes last night, so more than probably that's like some of the most he's played in a game this season. So those two out for me, but I'm fine with Bane and Paulo because I just think that their matchups are too good to overlook here. Bane in particular been shooting the ball great lately. Last 10 games, 70% true shooting percentage, elite numbers. Said it last time that these guys played yesterday. That's just elite numbers for a guy that is not a big man because he's actually taking threes. So usually lower efficiency numbers there, but 70% is really good for him. 26 points per game over his last 10. So just really good form for Desmond Bane. And he can get it going anyway here. Like the 3-point shot's been good. He's one of the best transition scorers. Washington is terrible there. They have no rim defense. So I think that Bane, pretty insulated here, should be very efficient in the minutes that he's out there. And then same thing for Paulo. Shot volume was a little bit lower last game, which was kind of what would you expect against Evan Mobley, but he went 15 for 21 against Washington last time they faced. So I like him as a spend up for sure. I think that I might be bumping up some of these bench guys a little bit because I think that just with the back-to-back and Suggs and Wendell in particular playing more minutes than usual, you probably see Javon Carter get up to like mid-20s tonight. I would think that Mo Wagner probably plays a little bit more than he usually would, like maybe in like the 18-minute range versus 13 last night. And then some of the guys that would get blowout would be like Jet Howard. He'd be backing up Desmond Bane, so it'd be max one of those two guys. Max one of Penda and Paulo. And yeah, that's probably it. But I do think that Mo and Javon Carter are in play here because they could be playing more minutes than usual, regular rotation, and then also get that blowout run.
But like the Penda stuff, does that feel a little too much on an 8-game slate relative to Memphis value?
Yeah, probably. I'd probably be more inclined to play Jet Howard because I think that he's going to be playing regular minutes. And I wouldn't want to go overboard with these guys at all. I'd probably be like a max 2 of any of the bench guys. I'd be a max 2 of Paulo, Bane, Suggs, max 1 Mo and Wendell Carter, max 1 of De Silva and Penda.
You'd be fine getting 3. I mean, it sounded like your 3 favorites, maybe Paulo, Mo, and then pick someone else. You'd be fine with 3.
I think it makes sense. Like I could see 3 guys getting there tonight, like Paulo getting there in 34 minutes, and then maybe Javon Carter plays like 26 to 28. Mo plays like 18 and is really efficient in those minutes. So yeah, I think 3 is okay.
All right, yeah. I mean, you like Orlando definitely more than the field, I would say. That's a spot again. So much concentrated ownership going to Memphis. We're gonna get to this next game. Danny Wolf, like it's a pretty similar slate to what Matt and I talked about on Monday, and then you find the spend. So looks like Orlando could be a spot to help get a little different. Let's keep it rolling. Next game, talking about the Brooklyn Nets and the Atlanta Hawks. 15.5-point favorite to the Hawks over the Nets. Nothing changes so far. We have 8.5, 14.5, 14.5, 15.5. It does get a little better throughout though, but yeah, obviously that's the NBA right now with teams wanting to win and some teams wanting to lose. 226.5 total on the Brooklyn side. No MPJ, no Day'Ron Sharp, no Igor Demon, no Traore, no Zaire Williams on the Atlanta side. 2 big Q tags, Dyson Daniels and Jonathan Kuminga. Yeah, I guess like I'm not in tune to see if it's what I see toe and a knee. I know Kuminga's been questionable. So if there's any bit of doubt, like why would these guys even suit up at all, which could open up. I mean, Jalen Johnson's still playing a lot of minutes in close games. So is Dyson. He had a great game against Dallas. CJ did solid. So maybe this is another spot at ownership right now. Like if both these guys are in, it obviously looks tougher, but I mean, you'll definitely see bumps for the CJs, Jalen Johnson, Nas, depending on Daniels and Kuminga Q tag. Other side for the Wolves, for the Nets, Danny Wolf is a strong play, 27 minutes, back-to-back games, but yeah, at least Drake Powell's not showing ownership. You called that last time. I don't even know what he came in at, but just a really bad point per minute guy. Can we go to like your boy Ochai Agbaji, old Utah Jazz, or anything else on the net side?
Yeah, I don't know if you looked at Sabres projections. They have basically like the entire team projecting for 5x value.
Yeah.
So they would be flooding optimizers. I'd be lying if I said I knew what they're going to do with their rotation. I really just don't know. There's two guys I know for sure are going to be playing a good amount of minutes and will be starting, and that would be Danny Wolf and Ben Seraph. So those are two guys I feel the most confident in. But then, like, behind, I don't even know if Terrence Mann, he hasn't really been playing. We've seen Ochai be DNP'd before. Still don't think Drake Powell is really in consideration because he's not a good per-minute guy. Jalen Wilson might even be back in our lives. He might be starting. And then, like, EJ Liddell is backing up Claxton now. Tyson Etienne should be backing up Ben Seraph. It's just really gross. I think that I'm just going to be overweight on Danny Wolf and Ben Seraph, and then I probably will get a good amount of Josh Minot if those minutes are true. Like, there's a chance Minot could start tonight too, and he's actually been a decent permanent guy in the past when he was with Minnesota and Boston earlier this season. So I'd be fine with him. But again, I think it's a situation where I wouldn't want to get too overboard with my exposure. You're going to get a ton of these guys in the optimizer just because they all project so great, but 105 implied total. Like, there's just a lot of systemic risk here overall for the team. We've seen it time and time again with some of these teams that just are super thin and don't score enough points to even be viable. But yeah, I think Jalen Johnson, like, he should have no resistance scoring the ball here. It's just the pricing thing. Like, he's almost 11K now, a game where they're 15.5-point favorites. Like, do we really need to get up to him? Like, same thing for Okongwu. He's not cheap anymore. Nikhil Alexander-Walker's been pretty expensive most of the season. I don't really think that even like Dyson and Kuminga being out does enough for these guys. Like, maybe Risache, as gross as it sounds, he's only 3.8K. Yeah, I don't know. I think that Jalen, you can make a case for. Like, he could definitely – I could see him going for a triple-double in like 3 quarters tonight and paying off his price tag, but I just don't really – I think it's like a max 2 of Atlanta and then probably like max 3 of Brooklyn for me.
Okay, I mean, it sounds like almost max 1, assuming Dyson Kuminga play on the Atlanta side. The Brooklyn side, I mean, like you mentioned, there's just so much value on the slate. Like, when we get to the Memphis stuff and then one other spots, even if Manat gets you 20 points or 19 or Agbaji gets you 21, which is really solid at that number, it's not guaranteed to be optimal by any means. Like, if there's only a couple Memphis guys outproduced their expected, Bagley looks pretty solid for 4,200. There's other spots where these guys, you almost want like 6x is how I'm looking at it, and maybe even more than that. I'm not sure Manat, whatever, is going to be 37%. I guess maybe if he starts, but even then, there's just the Memphis guys have so many. I don't know. I guess, what are your thoughts? Looking at Memphis quick, jumping ahead, they're a lot more thin are the Memphis side, and they're projecting for a lot of ownership, but right now only Cam Spencer and Small, 2 of the guards, are projected for more ownership than Manat. Do you see it going that way?
Like, do I think Minot's going to be that high owned? Like,
yeah.
Yeah, probably. If
Okay.
people just kind of blindly follow projections, so I do think that he's going to project pretty decently.
Because he does, but then you're like Prosper, Jackson, Rupert. Obviously, he has center eligible too, so like Jokic and Wemby. Feels like the front court's pretty strong, but yeah, I mean, if he starts, that's why I asked you. You're more in tune. Feel a little better.
He's got good positional stuff, like small forward, power forward. You just play him at small forward, down low, and kind of take whatever he gets you. I think that he does make a lot of sense.
All right. Danny Wolf definitely looks strong, but yeah, he's going to be one of the more popular value plays on the slate. All right, we're done. These first couple games, not very great. So, I mean, as you can see, though, 7 to 7:30 Eastern, all the ones we've talked about, backloading more, just naturally the games I think are a little more appealing. Great real-life games, and this Memphis-Dallas game looks pretty strong. So I don't want to be too overexposed for these first couple. A lot of big favorites. It gets better, though, this next game. The Milwaukee Bucks and the Miami Heat, one of the closer spreads, still 6.5-point favorites are the Heat, though. 234.5 total. Bucks side, no KPJ. And then Bobby Portis and Sims are both questionable. On the Miami side, no Norm, no Andrew Wiggins, no Jovic. Tyler Hero is questionable. I mean, yeah, Bam. He goes from one of the chalkiest on the slate, just absolutely nukes it. Now showing 3% ownership. Tyler Hero questionable tag is big. And okay, let me see. Kevin Porter Jr. is questionable. I don't know if I said out. If I did, I misspoke. So KPJ, Sims, and Bobby Portis all Q. Not a game getting much ownership, but it could be one of the few competitive games on the night with a big total. So yeah, maybe a little appeal.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't really get what the Bucks are doing right now, to be honest with you.
They don't know what they're doing. I mean, they're toast, though.
Yeah, they're not going to make the play-in, right? Like, they're pretty much eliminated.
Yeah, no, they're done.
So why even play Giannis 32 minutes last game? I just don't really...
What if Giannis wants it? At the end of the day, they better just be talking. Like, Giannis has been hurt a decent bit. Maybe he wants to just get out there and play some basketball. Maybe he's done in Milwaukee. I don't know. I would hope that they're smart enough to really talk to Giannis and be like, you know what I mean? If he wants to play, let him play. If he doesn't, obviously you're hurting your own potential future trade value, all this stuff. But if there's any bit of hope Giannis stays and he wants to play, I think you just let the man run the show. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that's probably what it is, I would imagine. Definitely surprised to see the spread as close as it is, but I guess Vegas doesn't really believe in Miami as much as I do. But I think that they should win this game pretty easily. I've been picking against your Bucks every time we've done a show for the last 2 weeks.
You have. And these guys, it was the exact same spread at home for the Bucks. It was 6.5 without Giannis, I want to say, because KPJ, that was the game. Yeah, game. KPJ went to the locker room, rolled his ankle, came back, absolutely went off. So at home, no Giannis. There might have been injuries on the Miami side. I know Hero was playing. I thought Bam was. That was really interesting. That's what I saw right away too. 6.5 at home, and now Giannis is in.
Yeah. I just feel like Miami should be well equipped enough to slow down a player like Giannis with all the size that they can throw out there with like Ware and Bam in the front court. They've been one of the better rim defenses in the league this season. Bam's done a good job against Giannis in the past as well. So I'm not really buying Giannis's spend-up option tonight, and that kind of gets me off of the entire Bucks as a whole, unless some of these Q tags were to miss. If Portis and Sims miss again, then I'm kind of fine going back to Miles Turner at 5.4K. I'd be fine with Usman Jang and Kyle Kuzma at their respective price tags. KPJ just takes off all the upside on Ryan Rollins, which has already kind of been minimized with Giannis back. So it's just kind of a gross situation for Milwaukee. But yeah, some of these Bucks or these Heat are definitely in play. I feel like Hero's gonna be back tonight. I felt like it was just a maintenance thing the last time that he missed, but they ruled in Larson and Khalil Ware and then didn't really update Tyler Hero, so maybe he is truly injured. But if he were to be in, I do think that's a pretty good spot for him. Bucks have become such a massive three-point funnel at this point of the season. They're bottom 4 in defensive rating. I believe they're dead last in three-point defense over that stretch as well. So a really good spot for some of these three-point shooters. Tyler Hero would be the main guy. He's second on the team in above the break threes, which is where the Bucks are giving up a ton of three-pointers. So good spot for him. I honestly think that Khalil Ware is kind of interesting here as well. He played a ton of minutes. Again, he missed that game, but the most recent one. But I think over the last 2 seasons, so basically last year, he started in each of the 3 games against the Bucks that Giannis played. He went for 41 DK points and 36 DK points, played a ton of minutes in the first 2, and then was he probably just played bad in the last one, only played 15 and a half minutes in that one. 19, he played 19 minutes, but yeah, played a ton of minutes in the first 2 games. So I feel like he's kind of interesting because you really need a lot of size. Like if Giannis is close to full minutes again, you definitely want to get as much size in the court as you can. So he makes a little bit of sense to me tonight. And then I think Fontecchio is in a better spot than Myron Gardner. I just don't really see the need for a guy like Gardner here. But you honestly don't need Fontecchio either at 3.8K. There's going to be better value plays that open up. I think Bam is just way too expensive now. Like that's 9.9K is crazy.
Even if Hero misses?
Yeah, I think that's just too much.
Obviously, the matchup, you go from the easiest matchup there is, and everything they did to get him that. Obviously, we're not even going to talk about that. To a very difficult matchup with Giannis in the paint. Obviously, you pick on Turner a lot, though. You said that a lot of people have hyped up Miles Turner's defense in the past or paint presence, but yeah, you said that's not sticky. Indiana was just good team defense that way, hey, and it wasn't Miles Turner doing anything special last year.
Yeah, I mean, he's always been a pretty solid shot blocker, but
Yeah.
it doesn't necessarily make you like a good rim protector.
Very true. I saw the crazy stat someone dropped in Discord about Rudy Gobert, the swaps from when he was on Utah on their defensive rating and versus the Timberwolves. Yeah, that's
don't let some of those people in our Discord see that. They're gonna fucking blow a fuse.
People don't like big old Rudy. I don't know. KPJ back seems tough at the price tag with Giannis back as well. Do you agree?
Yeah.
7.8.
I wouldn't take him out of the player pool just because I feel like when he returns, Doc just plays him a ton, and he does have really good upside, like the multi-stat upside. So I wouldn't take him out of the player pool, but I'm not necessarily like running to play a guy off of an injury tag. That's truly questionable.
Man, Kuzma got the job done last game, no doubt about that. So
almost got it done for me too, but actually not really because I didn't have enough Bam. But I had him in a couple of good lineups.
Dang. Oh yeah, without Bam, GG's. That was didn't even matter to look at the leaderboard at that point. All right, let's get to the game of the night in terms of DFS. Definitely not real life, but all we care about is DFS. 4.5-point favorites are the Mavs over the Grizzlies. Total wise, 238.5. Closest spread on the slate, tied for the closest with the next one. One of the highest totals as far as for Dallas. Nothing new. No Clay. On the Memphis side, all right, here we go. No KCP, no Scottie Pippen, no Santi Aldama, Ty Jerome and Cedric Howard, both doubtful, and Walter Clayton, and then Cam Spencer is questionable. So it's almost like, who do they have? And yeah, they're thin. This is why we talk about like Memphis is going to get jammed heavy. They don't have quite 8 guys. They have 9, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Wait, 8?
They have 9.
No,
They just don't have this Tyler Burton guy in the player pool.
Okay, 9 guys. I mean, yeah, you can see it right now. Their price is 5.8K, 5.5, 5.1. No one out, or I guess Taylor Hendricks is 5K. But I mean, you just can't spend money. They're thin. These guys are forced into minutes. It's really similar to the situation on Monday. And this game is supposed to be relatively close. Not that even matters. I don't think too much, but I mean, what are they doing in this one? Rupert was pretty solid last time out on Monday at low ownership. Now he's projected to be pretty chalky. Small got there in garbage. Now he's 65%. I'll let you take this away. Like, you can play Gigi Jackson and Prosper together, right? Is there any rules you make? How many's too many? You can't ignore this game.
Yeah, I don't know. This one's really difficult because pretty big game in terms of the tanking standings. The Mavericks are 1 game ahead of Utah right now, so a loss here would be pretty big for them. They've like Dallas has been playing games pretty straight up, even with the injuries that they've dealt with. Like they're still playing Flag and Najee and PJ like 30 minutes. Gafford's been playing more than usual, like around mid-20. So with that in mind, I feel like they are in a pretty good spot here. I feel like they are more likely to play the game straight up than Memphis is. The issue is that Memphis could only have 8 guys again with only 7 guys that are rosterable on DraftKings. So you would definitely need to get to these guys. Yeah, I mean, like Javon Small, I feel like especially if Cam Spencer is out, I just don't see how you don't play him. Honestly, like a 5.5K, he's basically the only guy that they have that is like a true point guard. So he'd be a guy I'm kind of locking in single entry if Spencer were to miss. I feel like he's fine regardless because he's still only 5.5K. There was only 4 guys that played 30 plus minutes last game. It was Small, Repair, Meshack, and Prosper. They didn't have Hendricks in that game, so they have a little bit more depth on the front court. But yeah, I'm like Small is the best play in this game for sure on the Memphis side of things. I'm a little bit less inclined to play Gigi just because they don't really play him enough, and he's the most expensive. Also, not necessarily elite from a per minute standpoint, so I think you can get away from playing him at chalk. Omac's a little bit tougher because he's running the center spot right now, basically the only guy that they have that's close to a center, so I'll be fine with him. But yeah, I think it'd be a max 2 of G.G. Jackson, Taylor Hendricks, and Omax. I wouldn't really group in Javon Small with anybody. Probably be like a max 2 of Wells, Hendricks, Wells, Rupert, and Meshack. And yeah, Rupert, I feel like is pretty good. They're going to play him a ton until his contract is up. So nothing really to add there. I'm just kind of
those are good rules. People asked, someone asked, Sixer Fever, like a great rules. Would you make these in 150? I guess, yeah. What's your take on this? When you're saying that, are you saying that for 150? The more teams you play, obviously, the more lax you should be, especially when you are using SaberSim with the correlation stuff. Now, later in the year, I think adding more rules can benefit you, but just I'd be aware. I'm curious to hear your answer because I can't remember what you replied to, but I mean, 150 teams, a lot of teams. If you make 12 rules and 11 of them are money, and they can all be money, but one of them doesn't work out, like you just blocked yourself right there from a chance to ship with being really tight on a lot of rules. So yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
I set rules for almost every team, but I think as we get deeper into the season, a little bit looser on the rules. So it wouldn't like normally be like a max 1 of Rupert and Wells and Meshack or something like that. But
if you're saying it like that's for 150, like that's for, okay. All right.
Yeah. Like people always ask like how many X team is too many. It's like you could play 4 Memphis guys tonight in single entry realistically because they have so little people, but that's unlikely.
Stone nuts to win.
Yeah, exactly. Like a 150 max. It's unlikely to be optimal.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. How many people in your contest, the payout structure, all that's some of the most important things in DFS. That's why, depending, like the sims are really powerful at SaberSim, and a lot of that's taken in. Is it 35% to first place? I mean, this week the Millie on DraftKings for golf. Like, if you're not winning the Millie, second place, you're not happy. But it's so top heavy, and you have to build accordingly based on how top heavy it is, how many people, and all of that. Because the less people, the farther away from the perfect lineup, more than likely you'll need to be. So yeah, I'm glad you answered that. Yeah, we'll get to the flags. I have point guard, small forward eligibility up.
Yeah, I mean, Flag is a pretty solid spend up tonight. I really have no issues playing him. I think the minutes are going to be kind of capped in like the low 30 range moving forward, but he is trying to win Rookie of the Year. I think that Dallas definitely wants him to win it. He's had a really good usage since coming back from injury, 34% over his last 4 games. And this is like a clear smash spot for him. He'll be able to get whatever he wants against his team. So no issues with Flag at all here. Don't necessarily want to get too crazy with the Dallas stuff because they are pretty healthy, but I do think Gafford and Bagley are in pretty good spots here at their price tags. Gafford has 3 straight double-doubles, so he looks pretty good playing mid-20s minutes and looks like he's in like pretty solid form. And then Bagley's just going to be backing him up, so you'll get like 23 minutes, 23, 25 split between those guys. So both very much in play here. Not really into like PJ or Najee Marshall as much. I think that there's probably going to be better options opening up at those positions. I'm really just Flag and then the 2 bigs for Dallas for me.
All right. Easy enough. 2 games left, 2 of the best real life games. I mean, man, I hope actually it helped me that night when the ref threw out Jaylen Brown, but I hope we don't get no shenanigans with that. And I hope, this Jokic-Wemby matchup lives up to the hype for real life and for DFS, because 2 of the better spends, in my opinion, 4.5-point favorites are the Spurs over the Nuggets, 240.5 total. So right there, the closest spread game on the slate, the highest total on the slate. Big one for both teams. Denver side, Aaron Gordon questionable, Peyton Watson out. On the Spurs side, Harrison Barnes and Wemby questionable. I mean, I didn't watch the game. Did he come down on his ankle bad? Is it like a real Q-tag, does it seem, or is he going to be good to go? Because I really want to see Wemby Jokic.
I didn't see it, but apparently he did go to the locker room with the ankle injury. I don't know when it was, but yeah, Mitch Johnson said it was a true 50-50 for him to play tonight. So yeah, bummed. I thought it was more of like a maintenance thing because I definitely was excited to play him tonight in this game. Hoping that he plays, but I have to imagine that there's some sort of limitation on him, on his minutes, because they've been involved in some really physical games lately, and they've been playing some really good opponents, and it doesn't end here. So yeah, I'm excited about this game for sure, but a little bit worried about spending up for Wemby at 11K in a game that there's a chance he could be managed. But on the Denver side of things, ton of interest in Jokic for sure. He's done really good against Wemby over the last 2 seasons. He's averaging 39.2 points per 75, averaged just under 70 DK points per game, only played 30 minutes last night, another triple-double. Yeah, Jokic is a top spin up for me at 12.5K. I think he should be fairly easy to get to as well with all the value that we have tonight, and more could even open up. So I'm very, very good with Jokic. Jamal Murray, a little bit tougher for me to get to. He's always good in these really tough matchups, but I mean, this is one of the harder ones. Stephon Castle, one of the best on-ball defenders in the league. So I'd be a little bit less inclined to go there and more get into Jokic. But I also do think that some of these secondary guys we saw have pretty good games last night. Christian Brown, Tim Hardaway Jr. against OKC, Cam Johnson last night finally got there. I think these guys are in play because the way to beat San Antonio, if Wemby is in, is with perimeter shooting. So you definitely need these guys to step up in a pretty big way. So I'd be okay getting into one of these secondary guys if Aaron Gordon were to miss, but it'd be a max one of anybody not named Jokic or Murray for me. On the Spurs side, yeah, I already said what I said about Wemby. I think that he'd be, if we had like clarification that he'd be playing full minutes tonight, no limitation, I would definitely play him. He's been really good against Jokic, averaged 62 DK points per game against the Nuggets over the last few seasons. So nothing really to say there, but I do think that Fox and Castle are in pretty good spots here just because Nuggets are a team that I don't really view as very good defensively, especially around the basket. Jokic doesn't really give a ton of effort trying to block shots or like defend at the basket because he's just too valuable to get into any sort of foul risk. So I think that both Castle and De'Aaron Fox are in pretty good spots here. Castle in particular, I think, is pretty good. Kind of the same reasons I liked Amin Thompson last night. He actually was fine from a per minute standpoint. The Rockets just couldn't keep it close because they are the worst 3-point shooting team in the league. But yeah, I think both Castle and Fox are pretty good here. And especially if Wemby were to miss, then both would see a pretty big usage bump. So I'm fine with them.
Yeah. Would you be fine playing both of them and Jokic?
Castle, Fox plus Jokic.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that idea. I mean, this is a massive team total or game total. 240 is at the
biggest on the slate.
Yeah. So
yeah, and the closest spread.
You'll definitely need. You're probably going to need guys like at least 1 to 2 guys in this game. I would imagine somebody has a pretty good night here in this game. Probably multiple people.
Dang, that Wemby being a real Q tag though. Like as you can see, if we don't get the news or any hints about anything, 6 of the 8 games are already going to be locked. And yeah, if you do have 2v2s, like you have spends in these late games, as you can clearly see. So it's a lot easier when you're hand building. If you do want to try and get Wemby, at least have 2 spots open, maybe 3, and mess around where you're not giving up too much projection with a 3v3 swap or something like that. The easy, obviously, Wemby center, Jokic is center. So you have the money to go up to Jokic and then try and find somewhere that you can drop your other 2 pieces or something to make it work. But because if I don't know, he's going to be lower owned than he otherwise would if they came out right now and said he was playing. But yeah, he's probably not going to be 20% the more I think about it. Don't you agree? People aren't going to just try and, assuming we don't get the news, like maybe cut in half, 10%. And that could be a little more appealing with Chalk Memphis and the same Danny Wolf. Like if you're playing the same build as everyone else, Wemby might be a way to get a little different with it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
All right. Last game of the slates before we do go there. Just want to let everyone know. Appreciate everyone hanging out. First of all, 276 watching on March 12th on this 8-game mediocre NBA slate, I'll say. But hey, March Madness right around the corner. MMA, of course, going on this week. NHL going on. MLB right around the corner. PGA, the players, massive prizes. If you do want to join us at the Nation, covering all these sports above, ShipTheNation.com. Join the Nation, bottom left. And then multiple different options to get in. The daily pass for $9 gets you Saber Sim, but no Discord. All of the content, though, better deal for 5 days. $19, you get Discord, you get Saber Sim, you get NBA content, you get MMA content, NASCAR content, NHL content, and PGA Showdown content. So for $19, that is a lot of value you get throughout the weekend. If you just want NBA content. To close out the year, you can go to Single Sport NBA and check us out. Shout out to Rio. Shout out to Matt Ham, our NBA team. Does a phenomenal job. In the Discord all the time is Rio as well. A lot of moving pieces in NBA. And yeah, it's impossible to update the slate plan constantly. Get in the Discord for the most breaking news and how Rio reacts to certain stuff, starters, and all of that good stuff. So we'd love to have you. Shippination.com, plenty of different options to join. Last game of the night, another great one in terms of real life. OKC Thunder and the Boston Celtics. Let me refresh quick. DraftKings Sportsbook, we're looking at 7.5-point favorites of the Thunder, 215.5, a very low total in this one. For injuries on this one, on the OKC side, Jalen Williams, who's been out, is out. Hartenstein is still out. I mean, man, talk about a game for the other Jalen Williams, though. Absolutely dominated. For Boston, though, no Tatum, no Vooch, and Derek White is questionable. 7.5. So on this slate, I guess it's relatively close, but I don't know. These guys should be playing their full allotment of minutes. It's a low total in this one. Two good defensive teams, but yeah, without Tatum, Vooch, and possibly Derek White, and Jaylen Brown got a lot of extra rest in the second half of that one. Came out right on Twitter. That's what you got to do, right when you get ejected. Hop to the Twitter streets and get a viral tweet. But yeah, that Derek White Q-tag's important. This is a game that's not getting too much ownership, and I think you're going to have interest since, I mean, these minutes I think are underprojected for the most part.
Yeah, I would say that I agree with that. A little bit surprised to see the spread what it is, but the Celtics are just a very well-rounded team and probably have one of the best coaches in the NBA, if not the best. So I definitely think that they can keep it close. How these teams match up is honestly very similar. Both teams are like above average to elite with their rim defense. I would say probably more so elite. Boston is first in defensive rim frequency. The Thunder have been like pretty much the best rim defense all season long, and both teams give up more three-pointers. That's kind of the way you want to beat them. Boston is bottom 5 in three-point defense. OKC is bottom 7 over the last 2 weeks. So definitely need the perimeter scoring guys to get there if you're going to keep it close if you're Boston. So I definitely think that there is a little bit of upside if you can find the right guy that gets hot here. Obviously, Jaylen Brown going to be in a pretty big spot here usage-wise with no Tatum. Like you said, he got basically got half a night off after he got ejected. Did you see Joe Mazzulla's quotes about that after too? It's pretty funny because it was not the
principal or something like that. It's I did see that. I can't remember the exact wording, but related to school and stuff. Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, that's funny. He's a jokester, but yeah, I mean he's gonna have.
He likes UFC.
Oh
yeah, big UFC fan.
I mean 9,300 is pretty cheap for what we're getting. Like just what we have been getting from Jaylen Brown this season without Tatum. So I feel like I'm interested in him in the sense that he's cheaper than he should be. I will say though, this is a really, really tough matchup for him because he's going to see Lou Dort, Caruso's back. They just have really good rim protection, so it's going to be tough for him to get to the basket here. He's done pretty poor against the OKC over the last couple of seasons. But I would say that it's a different version that we've seen from Jaylen Brown and highly motivated too. Like definitely feel like he's the type of guy that will kind of show out a little bit after what happened in the last game. So definitely have interest in Brown tonight here at 9.3K. The Derek White news is very big because I think that they would probably have to go back to Pritchard in the starting lineup unless they feel confident in I don't even know who they would go with. Probably Harper Jr. or
Harper.
Hugo. Yeah. So, I mean, those guys would definitely be in play as value plays. You need perimeter shooting, and Ron Harper is actually a pretty decent shooter. So I think that he'd be a decent option, 3.5K if he is starting. I feel like Derek White or Peyton Pritchard's in a good spot regardless in the sense that they need some secondary scoring and need three-point shooters out there as much as they can get. So I feel like he's in a pretty solid spot. And you could say the same for Hauser and Shireman, that they need that scoring from the outside. Not really into Kata here at 6.1K. Crazy price tag for him, but Vooch is done for the season, so he will be playing more minutes. I don't know. I think that you could definitely get into Boston here, but similar to the Nets in the sense that they have a really low team total, so I don't want to get overboard with it. I'll probably be a max 2 of Brown, White, and Pritchard if White is in, and I probably don't want more than one of these bench guys or the secondary options, like the Hauser all the way down to Harper would be a max 1 of those guys.
And more than likely, we won't know about Derek White injury news, so you can't click that. But I feel like Pritchard's a pretty solid play in the sense of like he could get a really big boost and be under, like people just wouldn't be able to swap if that's the case. And man, what 1,400 and Jokic and Wemby are about 1,400 again. You don't need to plug in White to start, but it would be something like that if you are trying to look to play Wemby if he is in, but have swaps available. It'd be something with the Boston stuff, I think. Yeah, but I like Pritchard. I mean, worst case, Derek White's in, and I mean, there's no Tatum, no Vooch. Like they're still going to need Pritchard to play a big role in this game if it's going to stay close, and only can go up from there. So yeah,
well, that's what I was going to say. Like he's good. He's in play now, and he can only get better if White is out.
Yeah, so I like that quite a bit. For OKC side,
yeah, for OKC, man, yeah, he's crushing. I mean, they might just stick with him as a starter because Hardenstein's still out, and he's just been playing so well. But I would imagine he does come down to earth a little bit with Chet back.
Yeah.
But I mean, Shea is definitely in play as a spend up tonight at 11.2K. He's been great against the Celtics over the last few seasons. They've actually been putting Jaylen Brown on Shea over the last few. I'm not sure they'd want to go that route tonight because of the offensive load that Jaylen Brown need to carry. But yeah, I mean, Shea's averaged 26.6 points per 75 against Jaylen Brown on basically 90% true shooting. Just really, really good numbers for him. Averaged just under 59 DK points per game against the Celtics over the last 3 seasons. So very good fantasy output from Shea. I'm definitely fine with him as a spend up. I think it's pretty thin after that, but I do think that AJ Mitchell is in play. I mean, good to see him return. Last game, played 29 minutes off the bench. And he's probably going to be playing mid-20s on the low end and close to 30 if the game is close and they need him. I mean, a really good permanent producer, and he's also fighting for Sixth Man of the Year. The odds have really shifted in his favor in a big way over the last week or so. So I definitely think that he's going to be making a push towards the end of the season. I would say that the matchup is great for guys like Dort and McCain and Isaiah Joe, but I just don't know if there's enough upside for them. Boston is dead last and above the break 3-point defense frequency. So guys that shoot basically anywhere but the corners would be Joe, Dort, and McCain. But Shea does actually get up some as well, so it's a pretty good spot for him regardless. But yeah, I like Shea and AJ Mitchell tonight on the OKC side.
You like Jokic quite a bit better though, right? Obviously different positions when you're playing Shea, the Memphis guards, like and stuff. But if you had to pick one, it's Jokic, clearly.
Yeah, I think so.
But it's Shea over like Cade.
Yep. Basically everybody that's priced above 10K.
Yeah. I'm trying to look at ways to get different. Like Paulo is another one that stood out earlier that you said. Peyton Pritchard stood out. I mean, I'm definitely eating the chalk with Jokic. Wemby concern with him is a Q tag. It's going to be so concentrated, as most March slates will at the end of the day, but it's going to be probably 3 Memphis, 4 Memphis people are going to plug in. Jokic, if they don't go Jokic, you pick 2 spend ups from there, and whoever you land on a Booker or whatever it may be that way. But I mean, yeah, having a tool like SaberSim on top of our projections, our ownership, Rio's breakdown, the slate plan, upper tier, mid tier, lower tier, the stone, and just being in Discord because we're going to get funky starting lineups. So we're going to get someone that's ruled out that does mess around with the slate. What Drummond's questionable without Bona and a depleted front court for 76ers. So right now this ownership does get updated throughout. The projections do as well. And yeah, there's so many cute tags on this slate. Moving pieces, and hopefully that changes a little bit from what I'm looking like right now at a very concentrated and pretty clear chalk build, or at least kind of chalk roster construction.
I wanted to circle back to this real quick because I forgot to answer it, but the OKC and Boston game is the one that's nationally televised, not Denver and San Antonio.
All right.
And Dort is in. I think you probably saw the Tatum thing where they said, I don't know if you saw on Underdog, they said Jason Tatum out, injury management, and then it had like Lou Dort too.
That's funny. Yeah, good stuff. 55 minutes talking all 8 games. Same thing on FanDuel. All of our content will be up. Again, the slate plan already up nice and early. If you are a member, check that out. Again, daily passes. You can just rewind like 10, 15 minutes ago. But if you go to shippingnation.com and click join the nation, you'll be able to see all of our packages. Many of them include SaberSim and the Discord. And yeah, a lot of sports going on right now, and MLB will be back before we know it. And I know Rio is excited for that after a massive year last year. But yeah, final thoughts from me before we get on out of here.
No, not really. Excited to watch the Spurs and Nuggets game for sure. I think that'll be a fun one, and definitely we'll have guys in it. So hopefully it's closer than the game last night. I just can't believe Houston just terrible.
Eduardo was talking about that.
Toronto's terrible too. I'm tired of people saying that they're a contender in the East. They got damn near blown out by the fucking Pelicans.
You want to make any predictions right now, or do you want to wait another week or something in terms of, because we don't do playoff shows. We're in the Discord and we're at content, slate plan, core plays. Like, you got to be a member to get all the good stuff. And I mean, the playoffs is a lot of fun. It's actually one of my favorite times for DFS. Projections definitely matter, but there's also a lot of wiggle room with them as well, because projecting minutes is so big, and these coaches will wrote, like, it can be game to game. You can watch one game and see XYZ made this adjustment and it worked, and then I mean the next game you see a projection site not even just kind of copy and paste from before, and it's completely different. So I think it's the most I know ball, like watching ball translates to good success in DFS in the playoffs. But yeah, any predictions or anything you want to make right now?
Well, the first thing I'll say is, I definitely agree with that. I think we have a pretty solid team for playoff time, because our guy Little Neck, who's been doing showdown stuff for us all year long, will definitely be more involved when it comes to playoff time, and he's definitely been very, very sharp when it comes to rotations for the playoffs. So excited to talk through stuff with him in a few months. I don't really know who, like, it matters who lines up with who in the East in terms of like first and second round matchups, but I feel like it's like the top four teams: Detroit, Boston, the Knicks, and Cleveland. I think Boston's got to be the favorite now. I'm choosing them to come out of the East. I don't think Detroit has enough shooting. I don't think Cleveland is great defensively, and then the Knicks they're just so wishy-washy. I just don't really
Knicks
believe them.
Eduardo. Knicks aren't doing nothing.
Yeah,
I would say I'm trying to find a sleeper.
I don't really think there's much out of the East.
No, it looks tough. Can the Hornets get in and make some noise?
I think they'll give if they're lined up with the Pistons in the first round, I definitely think they could give them a run for their money. Like, it's not going to be a sweep. Like, it might be.
That's not the team I'd want to see down below. That's the team I'd want to see least, I think.
Yeah. I feel like the Sixers got to be a team to look out for. Like, if they can get healthy, which is a big if, because now you have 4 starters out.
Yeah. That's the only problem. It's like, man, but yeah, if they're all healthy, I mean, and you do they have the talent that way, but do they have the chemistry? Like, have they played enough together or something like that to do it deep? I do like Charlotte. Knicks coming out. Yeah, come on. Championship bound. All right, what about Western Conference? Lakers are shot. Rockets are shot.
It's OKC or San Antonio.
Nah, you're going to write off the Nugs?
Yeah.
Jokic, as it goes on, Jokic's legs and just the team around him.
He's just going to be asked to do much. Their defense is not good enough. They can't get healthy.
What about the Timberwolves?
No. Absolutely not.
Right. I mean, yeah, that's the chalk answer. I'm trying to find some sleepers. I can't see the Suns, the Clips, the Warriors, any of those teams.
Yeah, it's like, I don't really think that there's a dark horse coming out of the West. I feel like
the Spurs are gonna be a problem for so long.
Yeah,
obviously OKC is too. We've known that, but yeah, we might get that matchup for quite some years. Cool. Yeah, that's all I got. Anything else? Otherwise, we'll get on out of here.
No. Yeah, I think that's it. I don't think the Spurs are over it. I think Pistons you can make the case for, but I don't think the Spurs are. Look who they beat in the last 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah, it's been impressive. I mean, when you have Wemby, like, they play well as a team, and then you got this freak of nature with Castle that plays defense, and they got shooting around. Yeah, they have the complementary pieces. Harper's big for them in the backcourt. I agree. I think Spurs are probably, if I had to pick, I'd pick them to win it right now. But we'll see. It's going to be a lot of fun come playoff time. But enjoy this right now. Still 8 games. Still the prizes are big. ShipItNation.com. Hit the like. Hit the subscribe on the way out. We appreciate it a ton. For Rio, I'm Titletown. Be safe. Good luck tonight. Peace.